Mansions of Madness is a game of paranormal investigation in the world of H.P. Lovecraft. Each of the players takes the role of an investigator exploring some sort of mystery, some sort of story that's going on. And one player takes the role of the keeper, and the keeper is the guy that is the antagonist of the story.
The keeper lays clues around some location, maybe a crypt or a manor or a spooky old graveyard. And the investigators are trying to gather these clues up and solve some ultimate puzzle, some ultimate mystery to stop an evil plot.
You explore the rooms, you find the clues, you figure out what you have to do to stop the evil, run away from the evil, or kill it, or whatever you have to do.
So the first thing you're going to notice when you open up the game is you've got, well, the heft of the game. There's just so much stuff in there. There's very little air. You've got all sorts of map tiles of various locations. You've got mansions and rooms and houses, nurseries.
There's hallways, there's gardens, there's a crypt, there's secret passages. There are so many things that can be put together in so many ways.
You also got hundreds of cards, and these cards can range from the characters to all the nasty things that can happen to characters, in addition to kind of the skills and stuff they can get.
The monster figures and the investigator figures are just beautiful. Now the monster figures in particular, what's cool about them is that they've got a slot in the base where you can slide in the monster tokens, and only the pertinent information, the pertinent statistics about that monster shows through.
There's shoggoths and Migo and witches and zombies and maniacs and the things that you want to find in a game.
At the start of the game, the keeper will make his decision as far as what he's trying to do. He gets a secret card that tells him how he wins the game and how the investigators win the game. He can look at this at any time, but the investigators don't actually know how they can win or how to stop the keeper until they've uncovered all the clues.
For the players to know where they need to go, what they need to find, they really need to listen to the story that's being told to them.
For example, they might find a clue card that says the mistress of the house was kind of a pack rat or a hoarder. This could indicate that the next clue is where? Maybe in the storage room, in the basement, in the attic. You've got to think, what do I know about this character, and what do I know about this setting, and what do I know about this house in particular? Where could I go? Where's the next clue?
And once they start finding clues, those clues will tell them in the story text where it is they need to go next.
You'll find yourself really talking this kind of thing out with your fellow investigators, deciding what the next best move is.
Eventually, they're going to uncover these different clues, and they're going to find the final clue, and the final clue triggers what we call the finale. And during the finale, the keeper's objective is revealed. This is when everything's on the line. This is when the investigators are going to win or the keeper's going to win, but we don't know who, and it's going to be dramatic and climactic conclusion. Sometimes it's a big fight, sometimes it's not. There's a wide range of different ways that this game can end.
Player's turn, the average investigator's turn, they have a lot of interesting opportunities and choices to make.
There are a number of instances where investigators will run into a spot where their intellect determines the success.
So when you're going through a house, you might find a locked door, a locked suitcase, any kind of magically locked thing that you will have to solve a puzzle to actually get past. And it will be an actual puzzle you actually have to solve.
There's, for example, a wiring puzzle, and it's really pretty cool. There are a number of these tiles that are set out before you, they're laid out before you, and you've got to rotate and exchange the tiles in order to make a consistent thread of this wire from one side to the other. Now you get a number of moves in this puzzle based on the intellect rating of the investigator that you're controlling. So Michael McGlenn, for example, just wouldn't have as many options in this puzzle and wouldn't do as well, whereas a Harvey Walters would do far better.
A keeper player has a very fun and wide array of play styles that he can indulge in. Each turn he'll get a number of threat points based on the number of players. He can hoard that threat to wait for the one turn where he goes crazy and the whole house just springs to life, or he can little by little whittle them down. A little bit of pain here, a little bit of madness there. Once a keeper gets a player down to 0 sanity, that investigator is his plaything at that point, and it's very fun to be a keeper then.
The way the combat system works in the game is when you attack a monster, it falls under one of 3 categories. It's either a humanoid, a beast, or an eldritch creature. When you attack one of these creatures, you draw cards from a deck depending upon which weapon you're using. So if I was attacking an eldritch creature, I'd draw a card from the eldritch deck. If I was attacking with my axe, I'd draw until I got a melee weapon card. And then it would tell me a little story. It says, you scream and charge the monster, weapon held high. And then it tells you to attempt to attack it with your strength. And so your test to see if you succeed with your strength. And if you pass it, then it'll have an effect. It's like, you chop off 12 of its tentacles and it screams in pain. And it tells you how much damage it deals. And if you fail, then a different awful little narrative happens to you.
I love the game because it's so much telling a story. It comes with 5 scenarios, but it's far, far more than just 5 stories. Each story has different objectives that can happen in that story, wildly different things that might be going on within the same building each time you go through it. But even beyond that, every card, every combat card, every card that the keeper can play that affects investigators all tells a little bit more story. So it's literally a story told in hundreds and hundreds of pieces that you can recombine together in all kinds of different ways. It's just fun storytelling in a board game.
Well, if you're a fan of Arkham Horror, then Mansions of Madness will jump out at you as being a great opportunity to see your favorite characters in kind of a different setting, in kind of a closer, more intimate setting.
If you're not familiar with Arkham Horror or Call of Cthulhu, the card game, it's still just good suspense, horror, mystery fun. It's looking through rooms, opening drawers, finding mysteries and exploring, and it's suspense in a board game, which is an incredible challenge, but we think we've done really well with it.
I hope that the first time people play this game, they're really just sucked into it. To such an extent that they don't even realize they're playing a game, that you really identify with the characters and you feel like you're really there and something's really happening and you're working together with your teammates, trying to stay alive, trying to figure out what's going on while teetering on the brink of sanity. I really want players to experience this and to just kind of be swept away in it.